This is chapter 34 of Legend, June. I learned at Drake that the best way to travel unseen at night is by rooftop. I'm practically invisible at that height. The people on the ground keep their attention fixed on the streets, and besides, up there I get the best view of where I'm headed. Tonight I'm on my way back to the border of Lake and Alta, where I'd gotten into the skiz fight with Cade. I needed to find her now, before I have to return to Balta Hall in the morning and go over details of Day's botched escape with Commander Jameson. Cade is going to be my best ally for Day's upcoming execution. Shortly after midnight, I get dressed in all black. Black hiking boots, a thin black aviator jacket, knives at my belt, a small black backpack strapped to my shoulders. I don't bring my guns. I don't want anyone to track me to the plague sectors. I make my way to the top of my high-rise until I'm standing alone on the roof with the wind whistling all around me. I can smell the moisture in the air. A few terraces still have animals grazing at this hour. The sight of them makes me wonder whether I've been living over an underground meat factory all this time. From here I can see all of downtown Los Angeles, as well as many of its surrounding sectors, and the thin rim of land that separates the enormous lake from the Pacific Ocean. It's easy to pick out where the wealthy sectors border the poorest ones, where the steady light from the electricity gives way to flickering lanterns, bonfires, and steam power plants. I use an air rope launcher to connect a thin cable between two buildings. Then I glide silently from high-rise to high-rise until I'm well out of the Balta and Ruby sectors. Here, the going gets a little trickier. The buildings aren't as tall and the roofs are crumbling, some threatening to collapse entirely if too much force hits them. I choose targets carefully. A few times I'm forced to aim the launcher lower than the roof, and then shimmy my way to the top once I get to that side. By the time I reach the outskirts of Lake Sector, I can feel sweat dripping down my neck and back. The lake's edge sits just a few blocks away. When I take a good look across the sector, I see that red tape lines almost every block, and plague patrol soldiers with gas masks and black capes stand at every street corner. X's mark rows and rows of doors. I see one patrol going from door to door, pretending to do another routine sweep. I have a hunch that they are doling out cures right now, just as Midas said, and in a few more weeks this plague will have magically trickled away. I make a point not to look anywhere close to where Day's house is, or perhaps was, as if his mother's body might still be lying there on the street. It takes me another 10 minutes to reach the place outside of Lake where I met Day. Here, the rooftops are too fragile for my air rope launcher. I carefully inch my way down to the ground. I'm agile, but I'm not Day, and follow shadowed alleys to the lakefront. Wet sand crunches under my feet. I make my way through the back alleys, careful to avoid the streetlights, the street police, and the endless street crowd. Day once told me that he'd met Cade in the bar here at the edge of Alta in winter. Now I scan the area as I go. From the rooftops I could already tell that there was about a dozen bars that matched the location in his description. Here on the ground I count out 9 of them. Several times I stop in an alley to gather my thoughts. If I'm caught here and anybody discovers what I'm doing, they'll probably kill me. No questions asked. The thought makes my heart quicken. But then I remember my brother's words. It's enough to make my eyes sting, to make me clench my teeth. I've gone too far to turn back now. I wander through several bars without luck. They all look so similar, dim lantern light, smoke and chaos, the occasional skiz fight happening in a dark corner. I check each fight, although I've learned my lesson about standing far enough away from the circles. I ask each bartender if he knows a girl with a vine tattoo. No Cade. About an hour passes. Then I find her. Actually, she finds me. I don't even get a chance to step inside the bar. I barely walked out of an adjunct alley and am heading toward this bar's side door when I feel something fly right past my shoulder. A dagger. Instantly I leap out of the way. My eyes start up. Someone leaps down from the second floor, lunges for me, and knocks both of us into the shadows. My back slams into the wall. I reach instinctively for the knife at my belt before I see who my attacker is. "It's you," I say. The girl facing me looks furious. Streetlights reflects off her vine tattoo, and heavy black makeup outlines her eyes. "All right," Kate says. "I know you're looking for me. You want to see me so badly that you've been wandering through Alta's bars for over an hour. What do you want? A rematch or something?" I'm about to respond when I see another movement in the shadows behind Cade. I freeze. Someone else is here with us. When Cade sees my eyes start away, she raises her voice. Stay back, Tess, she says. You don't want to see this. Tess? I squint into the darkness. The figure standing there looks small enough, with a delicate frame and hair that seems to be tied back in a messy braid. Large, luminous eyes peer at me from behind Cade. I find myself itching to break into a smile. I know this is news that will make Day very happy. Tess steps forward. She looks healthy enough, although dark circles have appeared under her eyes. The suspicious look on her face sends waves of shame through me. Hello, she says. How is Day? Is he okay? I nod. For the moment. I'm glad you're okay, too. What are you doing here? She gives me a cautious smile, then glances nervously at Cade. Cade shoots her an angry look and presses me harder against the wall. How about you answer that question first, she snaps. Tess must have joined the Patriots. I drop my own knife to the ground. Then I hold my empty hands out to both of them. I'm here to negotiate with you. I meet her stare with calm eyes. Cade, I need your help. I need to talk to the Patriots. This catches her off guard. What makes you think I'm a patriot? I work for the Republic. We know a lot of things, some that might surprise you. Cade narrows her eyes at me. You don't need my help. You're lying, she says. You're a public soldier and you turned Day in. Why should we trust you? I reach around, unzip my backpack, and pull out a thick wad of notes. Tess lets out a tiny gasp. I want to give you this, I reply, handing the money to Cade. And there's more where that came from, but I need you to listen to me and I don't have much time. Cade flips through the bills with the hand on her good arm and tests one on the tip of her tongue. Her other arm was wrapped in a tight cast. Suddenly I wonder if Tess was the one to bandage up that arm. The Patriots must find her useful. I'm sorry about that, by the way, I say, gesturing at her arm. I'm sure you understand why I did it. I still have the wounds you gave me. Cade lets out a dry laugh. Whatever, she says. At least we got ourselves another medic in the Patriots now. She pats her cast and winks at Tess. Glad to hear it, I say, looking sideways at Tess. Take good care of her. She's worth it. Cade studies my face a little longer. Then she finally releases me and nods at my belt. Drop your weapons. I don't argue. I pull 4 knives from my belt, hold them out slowly so she can see, then toss them to the alley floor. Cade kicks them out of my range. You have any tracking gear? She says. Any listening devices? I let Cade check both my ears and my mouth. Nothing, I reply. If I hear so much as one pair of footsteps heading our way, Cade says, I'll kill you right here. Understand? I nod. Cade hesitates, then lowers her arm and guides us deeper into the shadows of the alley. No way I'm taking you to see any other Patriot, she says. I don't trust you enough for that. You can talk to us too, and I'll see if it's worth passing along. I wonder how large an operation the Patriots are. Fair enough. I start telling Cade and Tess everything I've discovered. I begin with Midas and then his death. I tell her about my hunt for Day and what had happened when I turned him in, what Thomas had done to Midas. But I don't mention to her why my parents died or what Midas had revealed about the plagues in his blog entries. I'm too ashamed to say it straight to the face of 2 people living in the poor sectors. So your brother's friend murdered him, huh? Cade lets out a low whistle. For figuring out that the Republic killed your parents and Day's been framed? Cade's nonchalant tone annoys me, but I brush it aside. Yes. Yeah, that's a sad story. Tell me what the hell it has to do with the Patriots. I want to help Day escape before his execution, and I've heard that the Patriots have wanted to recruit him for a long time. You probably don't want to see him dead either. Maybe the Patriots and I can come to some sort of arrangement. The anger in Cade's eyes has burned into skepticism. So you want revenge for your brother's death or something? Gonna turn your back on the Republic for Day's sake? I want justice, and I want to free the boy who didn't kill my brother. Cade grunts in disbelief. You're living a sweet life, you know, tucked in a cozy apartment in some rich sector. You know, if the Republic finds out you've been talking to me, they'll put you in front of a firing squad, same as Day. The mention of Day standing before a firing squad sends chills down my spine. From the corner of my eye, I see Tess winch as well. I know, I reply. Are you going to help me? You're fond of Day, aren't you? Cade says. I hope the darkness hides the rising color in my cheeks. That's irrelevant. She lets out a laugh. What a joke. Poor little rich girl's fallen in love with the Republic's most famous criminal. And it's even worse, since you're the reason he's there in the first place, right? Stay calm. Are you going to help me? I ask again. Cade shrugs. We've always wanted Day. He'd make a perfect runner for us, you know? But we're not in the business of doing good deeds. We're professionals. We have a long agenda, and it doesn't involve charity projects. Tess opens her mouth to protest, but Cade motions for her to stay quiet. Day may be a popular figure out here on the streets, but he's still one guy. What's in it for us? Just the joy of getting him on board? The patrons aren't going to risk a dozen lives just to free a single criminal. That's inefficient. Tess lets out a sigh. I exchange a look with her, and I can tell that this is something she's been trying in vain to convince Kay to do ever since Day was arrested. This might even be the reason why Tess joined the Patriots in the first place, to beg them to save Day. I know. I take off my backpack and toss it to Cade. She doesn't open it. That's why I brought this. There are 200,000 notes in there, minus what I handed you earlier. A decent fortune. It's my reward money for capturing Day, and it should be enough payment for your assistance. My voice lowers. I've also included an electro bomb, level 3, worth 6,000 notes. It'll disable guns for 2 minutes in a half-mile radius. I'm sure you know how difficult it can be to get one of those on the black market. Kate unzips the backpack and sorts through the contents. She doesn't say anything, but I can see the pleasure in her body language, the way she hunches hungrily over the bills and runs her good hand along the crisp surfaces. Excuse me. She lets out a grunt of delight when she reaches the electro bomb, and her eyes widen when she holds up the metallic sphere to inspect it. Tess watches her with hopeful eyes. This is pocket change to the Patriot, she says after she finishes. But you're right, it might be enough to convince my boss to let me help you out. But how can we be sure this isn't a trap? You sold Day to the Republic. What if you're lying to me too? Pocket change? The Patriots must have deep pockets. But I just nod. You have a right to be suspicious of me, I say, but think of it this way. You can walk away right now with 200,000 notes and a rather handy weapon and never lift a finger to help me. I'm putting my trust in you and in the Patriots. I'm begging you to put your trust in me. Kate takes a deep breath. I can tell she's still not convinced. Well, what did you have in mind? My heart skips a beat. I smile genuinely at her. First things first. Day's brother, John. I plan to help him escape tomorrow night, no earlier than 11 p.m., no later than 11:30. Cade gives me an incredulous look, but I ignore her. A fake death. A claim that John's infected with the plague. If I can help him escape from Balta Hall tomorrow night, I'll need you and a couple of Patriots to get him out of the sector. Keep him safe. We'll be there if you can make it. Good. Now Day is obviously going to be trickier. His execution happens 2 evenings from now at exactly 6 p.m. 10 minutes before that, I'll be the first person leading him to the firing squad yard. I have a secure access ID. I should be able to get Day out through one of the East Hall's 6 back exits. Have some Patriots wait for us there. I expect a crowd of at least 2,000 to show up for the execution, which means a crew of at least 80 security guards. The back exits need to be as sparsely guarded as possible. Do something, anything, to make sure most of the soldiers have to go help there. If the first block past Balta Hall doesn't have a lot of security, you'll have enough of a head start to escape. Cade raises an eyebrow. You're suicidal. You know how impossible this sounds? Yes, I pause, but I don't really have much choice. Well, go on. What about the square? Diversion. My eyes lock onto Cade's. Create chaos in Balta Square, as much chaos as you can manage. Enough chaos to force most of the soldiers guarding the back exits to enter the square and help contain the crowd, if only for a couple of minutes. That's what the electro bomb might help you with. Set it off in the air, and it'll shake up the grounds in Balta Hall and around it. It shouldn't hurt anyone, but it'll definitely stir up some panic. And if the guns in the vicinity are disabled, they can't shoot at Day even if they see him escaping along a rooftop. They'll have to chase him or try their luck with less accurate stun guns. Okay, genius, laughs Kate a little too sarcastically. Let me ask you this, though. How the hell are you going to get Day out of the building at all? You think you're going to be the only soldier escorting him to the firing squad? Other soldiers will probably flank you. Hell, a whole patrol might join you. I smile at her. There will be other soldiers, but who says they can't be Patriots in disguise? She doesn't answer me, not in words, but I can see the grin spreading on her face, and I realize that even though she thinks I'm crazy, she has also agreed to help.